Kia ora, I'm Katarina and welcome to Chair Chats. Today I'm here with Rod Robson, the Chair of National Council. What are some of the things that are on the agenda at the moment?
I'm a Baptist pastor. You've shoved a mic in my face, so I need to tell a story. It's just part of
Oh,
how we're
I'm
wired.
here for all the stories.
Oh, fantastic. Well, last Friday I was in the office and I started getting vertigo. You know that when your head starts spinning round and you feel like you're on the Cook
Yep.
Strait ferry and the waves are getting up and all that. And it was a horrible feeling. And it wouldn't go away. And so eventually I managed to get home and woke up next morning, Saturday morning. I was still feeling like I was 6 months in a leaky boat and all that. But the problem was that I hadn't written my sermon out yet. I had some ideas about what I was going to do, but I hadn't got around to doing it. And at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, if it all else fails, you pray. And so I got in touch with the person who does our prayer chain and lay back down and tried to just keep my eyes shut and not feel nauseous. A couple of hours later, I was good. I managed to write out a couple of pages of bullet points. Uh, got up on Sunday, didn't feel too bad, and the sermon went great. So I was really grateful to God for getting me through that stuff. But it brought it home to me again. I'm not one of the great prayers of our time, but how important prayer is. And there's actually three prayer needs I want to talk to you about today.
Cool.
Can I ramble on?
Yeah, please.
Okay, the first one is every church should now have received a voting thing about the principal of Carey, Paul Jones, or the proposed
Yep,
principal of
got my
Carey.
email last week.
Yeah. And I talked a couple of weeks ago on Zoom, and I thought, what a smart guy and what a wise guy. And I don't mean that in the sense of being too clever. He was wise. He made a really good attempt to engage with te reo and hongis and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, this is a guy who's come here with a very humble posture. And I thought, we'll be very fortunate if he is elected to be our principal of Carey. So I'm hoping that that's going to go well. But if your church hasn't voted, please vote. It would be really helpful to him and the Carey board. So that's the first thing. The second prayer need is the Lower North Island Association. They have had a really rough time in the last few years. And out of that struggle has come a proposed major revamp of how their association goes and how it works. And that's being consulted on at the moment. And they're going to be deciding at their upcoming regional hui about the way forward. And that's in a couple of weeks' time. I'm sure they would appreciate us remembering them.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And it'd be interesting for the other associations to see what other possible ways that we might organise ourselves. So yeah, that really matters.
For sure.
And we've got one more, and it is the National Leader Search. That job description went out a couple of weeks ago. We've been sitting with that and working on that since last December. And those are awfully big shoes to fill.
Mm.
And when you look at the skills and qualities we're looking for, you know, clearly someone of great Christian character is really important. But some of the skills that we're after, they are really pretty unique. And they're not unique being a pastor. We don't think necessarily that our next national leader will be a pastor. And just to cite a few of the things, excellent communication skills across various media. I reckon Charles's Friday messages has been one of the things that has bound us together as a movement really helpfully in the last few years. Something like that needs to continue. Demonstrated skills in effectively leading complex organisations. The union has more moving parts than most churches by a long way, and that is a really rare skill. Proven ability to lead change in a collaborative and relational way. We want to keep moving, especially in how we associate and how we cooperate together. You know, the movement outside the churches is quite diverse. There's a lot of agencies. There's Carey, there's Arotahi, there's the regions, there's the National Resource Centre, there's Tifariki, there's the Women's Council, there's all sorts of groups. And they need to be sort of broadly on the same page. and they need to be supported from the centre. And so that's a really important role. And then finally, the one I want to draw attention to is proven expertise in creating and managing high-performing teams. You know, we are not one-person bands, Baptist churches. In the Baptist world, we are a collective leadership, and we need someone who's good at that team stuff. And if you think this is a demanding set of skills, yeah, you're right.
Well, I
It
don't know
is.
about you, Rod, but I've met a few of the people who sit in Baptist church congregations, not just pastors, but we have some pretty awesome people out there who love Jesus and have some pretty good skills and experience. And so I think there's people out there who might fit this bill. So I mean, I'd like to encourage anyone who's listening to this, if you can think of one of those people in your church, yeah, why not send them this job description and see whether that might be something that God might be asking them to do?
I think that's an excellent suggestion. We don't go into this with a preconceived idea of who this person is. We're genuinely seeking God, and we are committed to the idea that we would rather have an empty chair than the wrong person in the role. So this is important, and this is going to affect how the next 4, 7, maybe even longer years play out. So please do that if you know someone who's a pastor or a leader of a non-government organisation who's got some stellar skills, but also just be committing it to prayer. It's a big deal. Applications close, I think, in about a month, on about the 23rd or 24th of June. So yeah, there's
24th
still
of
a bit of
June, I
time.
think, yeah. And you can go online and find the position description, baptist.nz/vacancies, and send that on to someone.